All right, so manga only, right?
Yeah, manga only.
And you want to do a 5 minute burden and rejoinder?
I'm cool with anything. Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. And do you want to start? Or do you want me to start?
I mean, do you want to? Because I mean, I'm cool with anything, bro.
Wait, we
You know,
don't do that
the
anymore.
last
You
uh
are the man to do it now, so I'm just gonna.
no, that's only if no one can decide. They said if
Mala said
anyone can't
only if you
decide.
like have a problem, but if either one wants
Yeah,
to go first, they can.
so what I was about to say is last time we debated, I went first. I'd like to go second this time just to see if that affects anything. If you're down,
Oh yeah. I'm just gonna just drop a scale. Is that fine with you?
go for it.
Okay. All right. I'm obviously drop my evidence for it, so type it up in evidence. And let me go get the Daijin for that real quick. Okay, here we go. Got the motherfucker in evidence. Okay, here you go.
All right, and it begins, baby. So you agree that they're the same in power,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm assuming you agree that the magic puts them over. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would you agree that the power and the magic is two separate things?
The power and the magic. I assume be the
Yeah.
case if I think it's above.
Okay. So we can both agree that it's two separate things, correct?
Two separate in terms of what? Like in power
Like
or
okay. So essentially, not only does the Daizenshu state that he has the same power as Cell, and then it just says on top of magic. But then also, whenever Goku, and I can post a scan if you need it, whenever Goku initially senses Dabura, he's like, I have never felt a power like this since Cell. And then
mm-hmm.
later on, as they're fighting, he sees them use magic, which just
Mm-hmm.
kind of infers that like the magic is something separate, just based off of the Daizenshu statement, and then how Goku reacts to seeing it, like, oh, I had no idea it could do that. So like it's a whole separate thing that can't even be sensed. Like the magic itself works differently than normal ki.
Oh no, I wouldn't say that's inherently different because the fact that he's seeing it in his kid, he's saying he's stronger. So Goku can sense the magic and base that off of his initial his initial premise that he's similar to Cell. It would mean that they're inherently related.
All right,
They're two
I would.
different power levels. I do agree with that, but I don't think they're two different things in
Mhm.
correlation. They're like overall as a combatant. I think they're overall like something to apply.
Right. So I would say the fact right there that you even said they're two different power levels just means that they're just like two different entities a part of this dude's thing. He has the battle power and he has the magic, and they both scale differently. That's
I
what I
mean,
would
you.
say based on the Daizenshuu and then based on Goku's statements when he sees it. And I
Mm-hmm.
would say that the magic itself is actually weaker than his base power based on the showings of it with Gohan.
Hey, why is it weaker based on his showings of Gohan?
I would say that the Gohan that fought Dabura is weaker than the Gohan that fought Cell and beat Cell. And I would say just because the Daizenshuu itself states that Dabura and Cell are equal in power, Gohan is struggling against that. So his power is either got to be very low or relatively lower than both Dabura's and Cell's since he's struggling in that fight. And then the only thing that he has any
Wait, wait, wait,
like
wait. Wait, just slow down a little bit. Just slow down a little bit. All right.
okay,
So
yeah,
the
yeah,
first
yeah.
thing you said was the dice. So you're saying that Gohan is inherently weaker than when he fought
Mm-hmm.
Cell, right?
Yeah, just because the Daizenshuu itself says that Gohan and Dabura are equal in power,
Mm-hmm.
and Gohan struggling against Dabura. So therefore, that would mean that Cell is above that Gohan.
Honestly, Gohan doesn't have anything to do with my scale. But the Gohan you're talking about, that Gohan, like the Buu Saga Gohan is referring to, none of them scale to that Anger Amp Gohan. That doesn't scale anywhere. You want me to give you my reasons to why I don't believe none of them scale to that?
You can give the reasonings, but I feel like you're free to disagree and you can post your skins. But I feel like that the way that no one is arguing that the Gohan that beat Cell is stronger than Cell. What I'm saying is that the Gohan that is fighting Dabura now is weaker than Cell, simply because the Daizenshu itself states that Cell and Dabura are relative, and Gohan is struggling in that fight.
Yeah, all right. So, I hear you. But what you said
Mhm.
earlier was that Gohan, since Gohan is weaker than the one who fought Cell, that must mean that Cell is stronger than Gohan. But you can't prove that Cell is stronger than Gohan based on him being equals to Dabura. You can't prove that.
I have to prove that the Gohan that fought Cell is stronger than what? Repeat that?
Like I heard you. You said that the Gohan that fought Cell is stronger than the Gohan that's fighting Dabura, right? Correct?
No, I'm saying the Gohan that
So
the
you
Gohan
don't
that
think
fought Cell is stronger than the Gohan that fought Dabura. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So then you said that based on that evidence, then that means that Cell has to be stronger than Dabura. I mean, Cell has to be stronger than the Gohan who fought Dabura. But you can't really scale that back. Like, you have to give me a reasoning to why Gohan being weaker than those previously scales back to Gohan currently being weaker than Cell.
Because like I said, literally the Daijinchu itself just states that Gohan or that Dabura and Cell are relative in power.
Mm-hmm.
Since this Gohan who is fighting Dabura is losing, it just means that he is therefore under Cell in power.
Okay,
He's
yeah,
just
yeah.
weaker
All
than
right.
Cell.
So no matter if you think Gohan is losing to Dabura or not, this does not affect my scale at all. Because what you're saying is that Cell has to be stronger than Gohan. This doesn't affect Dabura and Cell. That's what I'm trying to say. Because what you're saying is that, well, Gohan is weaker now, and he's struggling against Dabura, therefore Gohan is weaker. But this is Dabura and Cell. Gohan's scale has nothing to do with what I'm saying.
Well, I can explain why it does affect it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Because
asking.
if that scaling goes through, I'm going to go based off the idea that it does, and if the idea that I put out goes through, that the magic and the power is separate, and that goes through, and we see Gohan when we see what Gohan does against the magic, he whips out his little sword. Gohan just snaps it in half. He does the stone spit. Gohan rips off his glove and throws it away. That just means that magic he has, it's irrelevant to the fight. It wouldn't put him over if a weaker Gohan is doing away with these things.
You know that Gohan he's told that he has to react to it. Gohan himself is almost caught off guard by it, right? Until he's told he has to dodge it.
What do you mean?
So when the spit is being thrown at Gohan, he sees the
Mm-hmm.
attack being thrown at him. Then the Supreme Kai says, "No, actually, not even that." So the spit is being thrown
Mm-hmm.
at Gohan, and Gohan is not able to react to it until Shin tells him, "Watch out, you'll be turned to stone."
Right, but that's fine. He can still react. He still react to it because when the stone spit touches him, it doesn't. The stone when the stone spit touches him, it doesn't turn to stone instantly, and that's the whole point. The only reason he's able to react because he's getting told, but he's also able to react because he doesn't instantaneously turn to stone. It slowly corrodes your body into stone. That's why he's able to rip off the glove.
So you're saying that him being able to react to the stone, like turning his body, like shaping his body, must mean that he has enough time to react to it. You know that he's seen the stone spit before, and he knows its properties. So obviously, if he knows about how it works in a fight, you have better knowledge, but you can't prove that Cell will have in that fight. I can show you an example of them like seeing the stone spit being used even.
Yeah, I know that Gohan has seen the stone spit before. I'm not refuting that.
Okay. So how does that link back to Cell? Because Gohan already has knowledge.
Well, essentially, because it's not an instantaneous thing, and it progresses slowly. I believe that Cell would see it, recognize if I let myself turn to stone, I'll lose this fight. So he'll just remove the limb that is about to turn to stone and then regenerate. And then and the reason I believe that is because I believe that Cell he's just a hyper intelligent individual. He's able to analyze a situation and figure it out and do it at a high level. Prime example being whenever I'm sorry.
Yeah, I get what you mean, but so the issue with this is that you can't prove in character you actually rip his arm off based on his intelligence. Because if they need to prove more evidence for like my claim and like have like a more preponderance of evidence, there's characters who've been affected by the stone spit, who have regeneration capabilities similar to that of Cell's, and just do not actually cut off their limb. And we do know that from Piccolo's statement. He says, "As long as my head is intact, I can still like regen."
Yeah, he can continuously regen. Yeah, he can continuously regen as long as his head's intact.
Yeah. So, but the issue
are you saying so? So here's my thing. I understand that you're saying that you believe he doesn't do that in character. I believe that he's smart enough as a character to recognize that, and he also can react quick enough to regenerate, to cut off his limb and regenerate. And I can post a scan that shows why I believe he's
Uh,
that kind of intelligent.
no matter like what you think, that's fine. You
Mhm.
believe that he could potentially have the intelligence, but the issue is that Cell's intelligence doesn't really. You can't really quantify like his intelligence compared to like compared to like Piccolo and Goku or Vegeta. What we
Well,
do
I
know
can
is
right
that
here.
characters, because like you can just say that, well, based on the information we have at hand, those who have regen capabilities who are affected by the stone. Not to say that Piccolo is a retard. I'm pretty sure we can both agree to that. His first thing is not, oh shit, let me cut off my head. It's, oh, and turn into stone.
I don't think that. No, I don't think Piccolo's a retard, but I don't think you can prove that he's smarter than Cell.
I don't really need to prove that because you can't prove that he is smarter than Cell. I'm just giving you like, I'm giving a assertion or like a possibility because characters
Right.
who
So
have similar
let
regions,
me just let me just post this scan,
because I don't really need to
and
prove
then
anything. I
let me
just
just
need to
post this
show that
scan.
characters.
You can say, let me
Can I?
post this scan. You can say what you got to say. I'll present why I believe it. You can say what you got to say, and then we can move on if you're alright with that.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay. So this scan right here is just a scan saying how long it took Goku to learn instant transmission. Says that it took him 150 days.
Yeah.
Cell saw the ability and then was able to essentially master it and then replicate it within. Even if you want to say, you can say that he when he saw it, whenever Goku first did the instant transmission Kamehameha. So however long that timeline is, whether it be an hour or two, I don't know, or instantly after whenever Goku teleported him to King Kai's planet before he blew himself off. Either one of those things, that's a way shorter time than 155 days. So I just think that goes to Cell's intelligence, his ability to calculate the situation, to adapt. And I think that with that feat right there, that shows that Cell would be able to adapt to the situation and wouldn't just allow himself to turn to stone slowly. Instead, he would cut off that limb because he is well aware of the fact, especially Super Perfect Cell is well aware of the fact that as long as that clump of cells in his head isn't destroyed, he can continuously regenerate.
Yeah, all right. So the issue with this is that this is not inherently adaptability. This is his body processing information and using it as a technique. He isn't seeing the weakness in instant transmission. He's simply copying the ability. What you're arguing is that, well, so I'm assuming you're saying that if the boar spits on him, he will just immediately recognize the danger of it.
Essentially, yeah, he would see, like I said, since it's not an instantaneous thing, it's not like the moment the spit touches you, your whole body turns to stone. Where it touches you, and then it begins to spread. Yeah, I believe that Cell would have time. He's shown to be intelligent. He's shown to be a quick enough thinker that he would have time to analyze that situation and just remove that limb, knowing that he can remove that limb and be fine and regenerate.
Yeah, but this is based on his cells copying techniques. This does not infer that he's able to adapt and understand the weakness of techniques.
It's you say the way that you're saying copying though is almost like it takes, it's like he's legitimately just copying it
He's
instead
quite
of
literally
actually like no, the way that you're saying, like he doesn't copy a technique, like he doesn't just like steal it out, like how you're implying that he does. Like the reason he's able to replicate the technique is because he is such an advanced fucking fighter that he understands what it takes to get there so quickly. That's how adaptable he is.
Yeah, that's fine that his body is able to process the information of the technique to learn it, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that it applies to magic. That's a key-based attack.
I'm not saying he's copying the magic. I'm saying that like you just said, his body, he himself is able to process information quickly. He'll just process the fact quick enough that he's going to turn to stone if he doesn't cut off whatever fucking limb gets hit with the spit.
What you're saying, but you can't argue that he will understand the weakness in the technique, because what you're saying is that, well, he will know the technique and then he will like understand how to use the technique.
It's pretty blatant that you're turning to stone when you're turning to stone. I mean, it's pretty blatant.
Yeah, it's pretty blatant when you're turning to, like, you're saying it's pretty blatant in like reference to what, that he will react or he will learn.
I'm saying that he is intelligent enough to react quick enough to not let himself get turned to
Yeah,
stone.
but you can't
And I
prove that.
just I did. That was the feat I
Like,
showed you.
your
Like I
rationale.
said, if you disagree with my rationale, that's fine. We can just move on from this point.
Yeah, but like I would like to have one more thing. So,
Go ahead.
like your point is that so since he copied since he learned instant transmission from Goku after
Mhm.
like Goku used it against him, this does not
Mhm.
infer that he knows the weakness of the technique to say that I would just cut off my limbs. This doesn't infer anything. But like I like what was
Yeah,
it?
yeah, you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. But I
I
believe
mean,
I've already said what I said.
we can repeat it. It wouldn't be circular. It would just me trying to have a better understanding of your argument. Because at least from my
Okay. Can
opinion,
you go ahead and say what you said again, just so it's really fresh.
what I
So I
said
can
was
rebuttal.
you're saying that because he's able to he's able to learn a technique from Goku that
Mhm.
took over 150 days. He should have an
Mhm.
understanding of the stone spit. But the problem with that adaptability is that it doesn't infer that he knows the weakness of the techniques being thrown at him or that he learned. So if he's being spit with the stone spit, you wouldn't be able to prove that he's able to like know that, oh shit, the process, the fucking stone spit is gonna turn
Well,
me
I mean,
cold.
it's
You can't prove that he knows the weakness in him
within the fact that he's
or
able to copy
react
or
to it.
not copy, but he's able to learn the ability so quickly just implies that if he's
Like I
able to
said,
learn the ability
circular,
so quickly, then he's also able to learn the weakness
circular,
of an ability.
circular. That's your premise. Your premise is that he will be able to
You can say
react
that's circular.
to ability. That's circular. But we can move on.
I'm just re-inferring what I'm saying. But yeah, we can go ahead and move on.
I mean, you use that as evidence though when I just brought up my claim. No, when I brought up my like argument and shit.
What do you mean?
Anyways, we can move on.
Go for it.
Oh, I don't have anything else. I mean, do you have anything to add to the table?
Do you want to go into defeaters?
Defeaters like win cons.
Yeah, one cons.
Yeah, I mean, my win con would just spin stone spit. GG's.
Okay. My one con would essentially be that he has Saiyan cells, so therefore he would grow stronger as they fight. Unless you have any contention with the idea that Saiyans grow stronger as they fight.
Oh, I'm cool with Saiyans growing stronger as they fight, but when he's
Mhm.
being spitted on, I don't think you can
Mhm.
really, prove how fast you can grow. Because as soon as he turns to stone, it's over.
Yeah, well, so like I said, I feel like I refuted the idea that he would just turn to stone, but you're maintain your stance. That's fine. Are you trying to say that he would spam it? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying he was spamming. I'm saying he would just use it and
Okay.
win. We already went
Okay.
over our last point.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're fine. Okay, so are we good to go?
I mean, do you got anything else?
Nope.
Okay. I mean, that's it.
All right, cool. I don't feel like we need to do whatchamacalls it.
I mean,
What
wait.
do you call this? What do you call that shit at the end of the debate?
Conclusion. I don't have.
Yeah, I don't feel like we need to do that shit.
I don't have a conclusion.
Yeah. 6 and short usually don't even like them anyway. So we're chilling. All right, good debate, bro.
All right, GG's.
GG's, dude.